Hello there, my name is Andrew Drunkman and I'd like to welcome you to the channel because after all, the reason why you clicked on that link is because you want to learn how to get leads for your business. Well, guess what? You just came to the right place because that's exactly what we are going to be talking about today. Now, if you haven't done so already yet, consider subscribing to Traffic Magic because that is what we do. We talk about different tips and strategies to help you get more people to the front door of your business every single day. Because after all, if you have nobody at the front door of your business, you have no business because that is the bloodline to your business. And also something to keep in mind, I'm going to leave a link in the description down below that's going to give you more of an in-depth training on how to get more people to the front door of your business every single day. Now, without further ado, let's get into the action. So, my very first tip I'm going to share with you when it comes to getting leads for your business is you have to constantly keep working on your business. You have to be consistent on working on your business. Now, I know this might very well sound silly for you to hear me say that, but in the grand scheme of things, you'd actually be very surprised. There's a lot of people out there, believe it or not, they're not willing to put themselves out there and not willing to take the first step forward and let alone just keep working on their business as if people are just going to show up at the front door of their business just because. That's not how it works. If you want people to show up at the front door of your business, you have to be willing to put yourself out there. You have to be willing to advertise. You have to be at some point being willing to be uncomfortable. Well, excuse me, let me phrase that. You have to be willing to be comfortable at times with the uncomfortable. And I believe in you and I know you can do it. Now, that's the very first tip I'm going to share with you. The second tip that I'm going to share with you is having a strong social media presence. And why is that important? Don't worry about it. I got you. I'm going to answer that question for you right now. So now the reason why it's important to have a strong social media presence in this day and age is because you have to understand we're so past the day and age where people back in those days, I mean way back in those days, where people were flipping through the yellow pages, reading news articles or whatever have you, because honestly, those days are done. Every bit of the mama and the mama's mama, they're over on the internet. They're on social media. So I'm going to be honest with you. If you're not taking advantage of social media, I personally think you're just going to be leaving a lot of money on the table. And honestly, I wouldn't want to leave all that money on the table. Of course you want to take advantage of it. Now, the other part when it comes to having a social media presence, so here's the thing, when it comes to figuring out exactly which platform to use, there's a plethora of platforms to use. There's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, etc. There's so many different social media platforms that you can take advantage of. The main thing I'm going to tell you more than anything else is master whether one or two social media platforms at a time, and make sure you master at least one or two at a time. And then if you want to venture off into other social media platforms, feel free to go ahead and do so. But the reason why I'm telling you at least master one or two, at least at like right now, at least as you're getting started, as you're getting going, is because if you try to master more than two at a time, chances are you're going to spread yourself out way too thin. And honestly, it doesn't really help you if you don't at least take the time to master whether one or two social media platforms at a time. But once you're able to do that and you master those one or two platforms, then feel free to go ahead and venture off into other social media platforms. Most social media platforms generally do work the same. Some are a little bit more different than others, but it's not really hard to figure out. But that is something that's going to be up to you to figure that out and do your due diligence when it comes to social media. Now, the next tip I'm going to share with you is being laser focused on your niche and knowing exactly who your target audience is. When you know exactly who your target audience is, and the more that you know about your target audience, it puts you in a better position so that this way you can help solve their problem and fulfill their needs. This way you can service them properly, because after all, you want to show that you are the go-to person. You want to show that you're the one to help solve their problem and fulfill their needs. Because after all, you want to make sure you put the right product in front of the right person. So the more you know about your customer avatar, the better. And so when it comes to your demographic of people who you're serving, it could be a plethora of things, but of course it depends on the product and or services or whatever it is that you're promoting. Maybe the services of whatever you're selling or whatever the case might very well be, maybe they're from low-income families, high-income families, or maybe they're from a different part of the world. Maybe there's a certain ethnic of people. Maybe they're black, white, brown, etc. whatever the case might be. But as long as you understand their pain points and you understand what their pain points are, that is going to help you solve their problems, because now you can put yourself in their shoes and actually be able to market to them properly. Now, when it comes to this, understand there's no shame whatsoever in asking questions. There's nothing wrong with asking your target audience questions to figure out how to solve their problem and fulfill their needs. Because honestly, like I said, it's all about knowing. The more that you know about your target audience, the better you're going to be able to serve them. Now, the next thing I'm going to have for you is create content that's around your niche. Now, granted, just understand everything I want to talk about, even up to this point and throughout this video, everything has to be congruent, right? Why do I say that? Because after all, I mean, let's think about this. For example, I don't exactly want to sell a dog training video to someone that wants to learn how to lose weight, because that doesn't make any sense. So when it comes to creating content, make sure your content is congruent with your product and your niche. Now, what's so great about creating content is that when you create content for people, you are, at that point, you're beginning to build a know, like, and trust with people, and people get to know you through free content. Why is that important? Well, let's put this in a little bit in perspective for a second. If I walked up to you on the street and I said, here, buy my product, you're not going to buy it. Of course you're not going to buy it. But see, that's the whole point. When you give people free content, they get to know you through free content. As they get to know you, you're going to empower them with free information. That's a great way to add value to people. Do not underestimate the power of free content when it comes to when you're building a know, like, and trust with people, because they're getting to know you through free content. They're going to eventually like you because you're going to empower them with free knowledge, especially if there just so happens to be that one little thing that you know more than that other person. They're gonna like you because now they feel some type of way because of the fact that you're empowering them with that free knowledge. You're empowering them with that free information, and they're gonna feel smarter because of it. I'm telling you, there's a lot of power in that. And also, they're gonna trust you. And this is a great way to build relationships with people, because once they get to that point when they trust you and they see that you're the go-to person to help solve their problem and fulfill their needs, it's a great way to build credibility with people. And not only will people more than likely to buy your product, but they'll also more than likely buy products from you later on down the road. So now you can build a consistent revenue off of that same customer. So I really hope, and well, off of that same lead. So I really hope that makes sense. Now, the next thing is create a lead magnet. So the reason why it's important to create a lead magnet and understanding what a lead magnet is, it's really simple. So again, as long as it's congruent with your niche. So let's say, just for this silly example of this video, that let's say I was to try to sell some type of a weight loss product. So what I would do is, in exchange for your email address, I would offer something like an ebook saying, hey, these are, these are maybe I'll give you an ebook for free saying, here, this is 10 different foods that you can eat that can help you lose weight, or maybe 10 foods to stay away from when it comes to losing weight, whatever the case may very well be. But the point is, as long as it's congruent with your niche, that's what's more important. Because once you give something away for free in exchange for their emailing address, now you can market to them later on. And then that's where we're going to get into email marketing. But before we get into email marketing, the last thing I want to leave with when it comes to lead magnets, understand something. It doesn't necessarily have to be an ebook. It could be a plethora of things. It could be you're giving something else away for free, or maybe a 10 or 15% discount, or maybe you might very well want to maybe create a lead magnet to get their email address and have them a part of your loyalty program, which is also a great way to have retention when it comes to having consistent revenue with the same customers. Because honestly, just a silly example, I'm just going to be honest with you. Me personally, I'm that kind of person. I love going to Starbucks with their customer loyalty program where I can get a free Starbucks coffee or whatever have you. I think it's phenomenal. I love that stuff. And to be honest, I know everybody in the mama and the mama's mama, they love getting free stuff. If it's not free stuff, 10%, 15% off, whatever the case might very well be. Obviously, you don't want to break the bank because, obviously you want to make money. But in the grand scheme of things, the whole point of what I'm making is that the more stuff you're willing to give for free, that's within your means though, of course, you're more than likely to make more money later on down the road, and consistent money. Now, next, when it comes to email marketing, this is what's really powerful when it comes to email marketing, is that after you took the time to do all the things of what I said, now you get to the point to where now you have them on your email marketing list. This is what's so powerful about having your own email marketing list, because when you have your own email marketing list, and the more people that you get on your email marketing list, and the more content you also give to people, that's the beautiful thing about email marketing, is that you can still give away free content even on your email marketing list. And the more stuff you give away for free, and the more than likely you're going to be able to also build a know, like, and trust with them, because you're going to do the same thing like I was talking about before, where you're giving them free content. They're going to like you, and the more you're able to do that, the more of a relationship you're going to build with people. But what makes that powerful is that that's your traffic list that you took the time to build that relationship with. As long as you constantly keep building a relationship with your list of what you have, and the more people you keep adding on, the more likely more money that you're going to be able to make later on down the road. Now, that's going to be the end of this video for today. If you felt like you got some value out of this, I would appreciate a thumbs up. Leave me in the comment section down below, because I always want to know what you got to say. And also remember, I'm going to leave a link in the description down below that's going to give you more of an in-depth training on how to get more people to the front door of your business every single day. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.